front thrust you have to have rigid.
But does it have to like kind of go over a certain?
Just your elbow joints. So this covers my joint. All 3 points of it.
Last time I was like, I don't know how hard to stab people.
I like to say a boot. I'll give her a go. There's a solid chance I'm going to go with his because it's not right-handed.
No, that's honestly, I just need the cash, so I was hoping to sell off a few things like that armor and that, which I don't see the one heavy dude, so. You aren't by chance looking for a coat of plates that doesn't fit you too well?
It's a little big on me.
No worries, you'll grow into it.
I don't think I hope I don't.
No, that's
I'd need to gain a lot of weight to grow into that. Like and height too. My torso would need to grow. I mean, so smart.
Doesn't fit. The weights don't fit.
Devastating.
So sad. You have no idea how sad I am right now.
The audacity of
I
them.
wanted to do CNC with the weights in. I really wanted to try it. I don't want to see it.
I just wear my armored arms when I want like to
That's so valid of you. You feel seen?
I do.
We're gonna have a camera going for it. I'm gonna be right next to it running commentary.
Oh yes, you need to tell the world.
I gotta tell the world about this shitty race.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, I guess with another cock talk, or more just Kai ranting about F1. There was a race this weekend. It was in China, in Shanghai. I went out this weekend thinking it couldn't be any worse than Australia, when Ferrari was very stupid, like they always are when it starts raining in a race. And we finished in 8th and 10th, and I was like, it can't get worse than that. It can't. Like, we're gonna do better. We will be fine. My drivers, I trust them. And I still trust the drivers. Do I trust Ferrari? Maybe. Yes and no. The race started off, well, first there was a sprint race. Sprint qualifying, I prayed to the universe to have a Ferrari driver on pole, and I got that. I got Lewis Hamilton on pole. I'm now learning Italian because of it. I know. Please and thank you, basically. That's all I need to make the universe listen to me. Apparently not, I need to learn more. Anyway, Lewis Hamilton on pole. and he wins a sprint race. Hallelujah, having a great time, thinking this race is going to be amazing. Qualifying for the actual race starts. Oh boy, we're not doing as well. Why am I nervous we won't get out of qualifying too? Why am I nervous we won't get into Q3? We make it into Q3, it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. They qualify in 5th and 6th. Lewis is in 5th, Charles is in 6th. We can make up places in this race. It's a pretty long race. We'll be fine. And I was right about that. Except for the part that we would be okay the rest of the time.
One second, I'll switch my gloves so I can.
Anyway, back to my little rant happening in this corner. So race starts. We go into like turn 3 of the first lap, and Charles and Lewis have a little tap. Charles' front wing taps the back of Lewis's back wheel. I didn't even notice that this really happened until they're like, oh my god. Until Max reports on the radio that it looks like Charles has front wing damage, and sure enough, the little flap at the corner of his front wing has broken off. I'm like, oh god, no, we have to pit. We can't do this. We have to do an early pit stop and change the front wing. That takes so long. Charles, though, goes on the radio and says, we can survive. So from then on, I have the entirety of the Glee version of Survivor, I Will Survive mashup playing in my head on repeat. This is a key song and will come up later. Have that song playing on repeat. We will survive. Everything will be fine. Charles says it's fine. And it was mostly fine. Somehow Charles is doing better than Lewis. He's lapping faster times. Now coming for the first pit stop, Charles has the fastest pit stop of the race. Pretty good. We're on hard tires now, and the race is fine. Like very early on the first stint of medium tires, Charles goes, I think we should do plan C. And Ferrari went, nah, we don't need to do plan C. We should stick with plan B. And Charles goes, well, if we're doing that, we should do plan A instead. And they're like, nope, we're doing plan B. I don't know what plan B was going to be. I think it was a 2-stop race, probably medium, hard, medium, or medium, hard, hard. I don't know. Either way, maybe listen to your drivers, Ferrari. Race is going. They're now on hard tires, and they're realizing that, hey, these hard tires are lasting a long time. I'm filming what we call Cock Talk episode, where it's filming the fighting while whoever's near the camera talks about whatever random nonsense they want. I'm ranting about Formula One right now to the lovely viewers of this episode, which will just be Patrick and Quinn.
Okay, that checks.
Yeah, so it's fun time.
But did you tell them about the bog butter?
The what?
The bog butter.
No.
It was a common way to serve butter in Ireland. Bog butter.
Where was I? Right, the pit stops. So everyone starts pitting. They're really, Ollie, some of the drivers, like Ollie in the 2V car, started on hard tires, and they're still going. They're going pretty well. Those tires are lasting a while. So some of the drivers, George, very early, goes, hey, I think we should do a 1-stop, which was what Charles said with we should do plan C, and Ferrari said no. So they're still going. Charles thinks he's on 2-stop strategy. He's lapping faster times than Lewis. He's right behind Lewis, and Lewis on the radio goes, I think we should swap, he has better pace. I didn't get to hear that message though, because for some reason F1 TV and like the broadcasters didn't air it. All I heard was Charles's radios being like, you'll be swapping cars into this turn, and they aired those messages saying that Ferrari's saying they're going to swap cars. So for a minute I believed Ferrari was calling team orders, and I was like, I guess I understand, but also I hate team orders. But no, it was Lewis's call, which makes more sense, and I'm not mad at it. If a driver goes, he's got more pace, and you tell them to switch spots, who am I to judge Lewis Hamilton about that? So eventually they get the swap done. The first try, Lance Stroll got in the way. The second try, Charles was a bit too far back, and the third time was fine. They swapped cars pretty easily, and Charles starts going. He starts going ham on those lap times. He starts gaining on George Russell in front. He gets so close. It's oh so close, like 6/10 behind George Russell, but he just can't get the overtake. To quote Charles, he says, that Mercedes is a dragster out of turn 12, turn 13, around one of those two. Basically meaning that Charles can get as close as he wants, but coming out of turn 13, the Mercedes just has way more grip and is able to like get away, which is not fun. So Charles, after a little while, starts backing off of George, trying to conserve some tires and also be like, all right, I tried, we'll get him with the undercut with a pit stop. Yeah, the second pit stop never comes. Ferrari then decides, hey, it's actually plan C, we're doing a one stop, and Charles gets a little frustrated because he goes, I told you so. I literally goes on the radio and goes, I told you so. So now he's kind of cooked his tires a bit, thinking he was going to get a pit stop that he's not getting. So he's backed off of George and is like doing well. Lewis is behind him, and then there's Max. Pause on Ferrari for a moment. Out front is Oscar having his own race. Genuinely, Oscar's minding his own business out front, leading this race. Lando and George had a bit of a scuffle on the first lap, and then when they were both coming out of the pits, nothing really happening. They're all like evenly spaced out. Lando's complaining a little bit, telling McLaren to make Oscar go faster so he won't have to run in Oscar's dirty air, and to that I say get better. You have a comment there, Chase? Okay. I believe Oscar shouldn't have to ruin his tires in his race for the benefit of Lando. Either save your tires better or try to overtake him. I don't know. But yeah, Lando was trying to save his tires so at the very end of the race he can push and try to overtake Oscar. And yeah. In the backfield, you got the V-cars struggling. They started so high up. They started in 9th and 10th. They were starting in the points, and then they dropped so quickly away. It's a terrible, terrible strategy. I don't know what the strategy calls were, but they were not good as I saw them dropping down the timesheet. Otherwise, the Haas's were doing fabulous. My boy Ali, I passed an Alpine and he passed Liam Lawson in the Red Bull. At both times he said ciao ciao on the radio to them, which is really funny. That could be something Ali says to himself, but the fact that he pushed the button to talk to the through the radio to say ciao means he wanted people to hear that, and I think that's really funny. Those are the highlights of the rest of the field. Back to the Ferraris. Max has been really quiet this entire time. Max has been having his own little race. He got passed very quickly at the start by Charles and Lewis. He's minding his own business. All of a sudden, he starts just speeding up a little bit. Oh no, Max is informed about that one stop a bit earlier than us and has saved his tires. So he starts pushing the lap times. And for some reason, Ferrari goes, let's pit Lewis Hamilton for new hard tires and see what that does. It does nothing because you just wasted a pit stop that no one else is going to do. I think they tried to fake out the rest of the field and get everyone else to pit, but they're not going to because those hard tires are lasting a while, and they weren't stupid and told their drivers that they were doing the one stop a lot earlier. So Lewis pits, so now there's no buffer between Charles and Max. And Max is just going hand. He's just getting faster and getting closer and closer and closer. And then he catches up to Charles. And then he overtakes Charles in a really weird spot in a turn you normally don't overtake. And I think it's turn 8 or something. Odd, but it's Max Verstappen and he can overtake wherever he wants. Charles does fight back though, and it was beautiful. The 2 turns they were fighting in this race was beautiful, and if it was for first place, I would be very excited, but it was for 4th place, and I was less excited because Charles had no tires to fight with, because again, Ferrari didn't tell him it was a one-stop until he had already cooked his tires trying to catch up to George. So now he's just vibing. Lewis is 20 seconds behind, Max is trying to catch up to George. We hard cut to Lando though, who is now seems to be struggling. I applaud, I laugh, I mock this. 4 laps to the end of this race, he's getting notification after notification. His radio never stops talking, and that's what they're choosing to post. So there's probably more messages I did not hear. Basically, brake was, I guess, coming loose, or as he was pushing it, it wasn't applying as much pressure as it should be. So his brakes are slowly dying. They're very slowly dying. But then he decides, hey, I've been saving my tires this entire race to try to catch up to Oscar. I'm going to still try to catch up to Oscar. And his engineer goes, hey, maybe don't do that. Your tires are dying. Don't try pushing them. So Lando tries to push for like 2 laps and then realizes, oh shit, my brakes are fucked. And then backs off, and then his brakes get even more screwed over because, you know, they're slowly just going away. And on the last lap, he drops from being like 7 to 8 seconds ahead of George to like barely like 1 second ahead of George as they cross the finish line. And I was just, why couldn't that have happened like 1 or 2? A button.
I didn't know if it was a button or
Yes, you got your button.
Toss it in the bag.
Okay, cool.
So it's them. The hold, by the way, was for Master Joseph's button falling off of his coat. Resume fighting. I resume my rant. So yeah, Lando's brakes are dead. They're shot. And I only wish this had happened like 4 laps earlier or something, so that he would have had to, you know, pit and be out of the race, or just drop way back and be ahead of my Ferraris. So that's how the race ends. At the end of the race, Charles ends up in 5th place and Lewis is in 6th. I'm like, you know what? Not bad. Not bad. Lewis's race could have been slightly better. So, like, Lewis's race could have been better. Charles had that wing damage, and we can survive. At the end of the race, Charles goes on the radio, goes, did we ever change that front wing? And Brian goes, no, Charles, we didn't change the front wing. It would have taken way too much time in the pits. And Charles goes, okay. Casually forgot that he had front wing damage. I feel like they should have changed that front wing, because it may have led to an issue that I will now discuss. So that's how the race ends. I'm like, you know what? Pretty fun race overall. Kind of pretty entertaining at points. I go to bed. I wake up to the news of Pierre Gasly being disqualified for being underweight, and both Ferraris being disqualified. Lewis, for the wood plank underneath the car, is been shaved down too low from hitting the curb, so it's not meeting the minimum requirement. And Charles Leclerc was 1 kilogram underweight, or 2.2 pounds. How do you get disqualified for being 1 kilogram underweight? I wanted to throw my phone yesterday morning. It was a long day. Really mad about that. Basically, like Lewis, the ride height was just too low. He hit the curbs too many, skidded the curbs too many times, just wore the plank through. So that's like an issue that's very easily just raise the ride height slightly. Hopefully that doesn't fuck the car. Charles though, the message from Ferrari was that it was due to too much wear on the tires. Which again, Charles called for Plan C before they even switched to the hard tires, and they said no. And then by the time he was told, it was a bit too late. And I feel that could have all been very easily avoided. Also, I feel like because that left chunk of the front wing was off, every time he went into a high-speed corner, it was pulling the front wing down, basically kind of causing dirty air to go under the car. So somehow he was doing better than Lewis in pace. I don't know how with that damage, but he was. It wasn't like too significant, but I believe it was not helping the tires survive longer. But it wasn't like super bad. But also now that they're disqualified, I'm a little bit pissed about that. Which brings me back to that Glee Survivor I Can Survive song. And just like them, losing when that song rightly deserved to win in Glee, Charles also lost and was disqualified.
Have you debated? You've been talking F1 for, I feel like, a solid...
It's been 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
One race.
You could have made this like a video. You could be an F1 commentator. You know that, right? You you go on there with your strategy analysis? Like,
I do have friends and I that are making a podcast. Not Quinn and them, but different like ones are doing that.
You're making an F1 podcast?
Yeah.
I support this endeavor. This
Thank
is a good
you.
idea.
Thank you.
You're a yapper when it comes to F1.
I am a yapper when it comes to F1, but it's going to be a little intense because one of them is a big Lando fan and one of them's a Carlos fan, and I hate both people.
Oh my god, that's
so
fantastic.
the debates we are going to have this year are probably going to be so fun.
Dude, you could have like the trifecta segment where you guys just argue about your trifectas.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
here I can show you. I made the logo for it and everything.
A logo.
We did for like when we post it, like
Oh yeah,
for
no,
our
I
Instagram
get it.
and
That's
everything.
important. You're gonna go brand. You know what? I love that.
My podcast.
Track girls on mics. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
The motto is motorsports is our personality trait.
You know what?
Slogan.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
fantastic.
Yeah, we all know Formula One. I'm the like main. Me and like one other person will be the main IndyCar people on the podcast.
There you go. Okay.
Because we're both like in America, and some of the people we have on the podcast are living in Europe.
Yeah.
So I gotta talk shit about IndyCar. Let's go! Which is my next segment, is talking shit about IndyCar.
There it
Actually, it's gonna be talking shit about Fox Sports, more specifically. The IndyCar race was fine. Fox Sports needs to give IndyCar back to NBC. Very quickly. Did I wrap up the Formula One thing? I think I did. Ferrari was stupid. Both my drivers disqualified. So was Pierre. So I guess it was like probably was a tire thing and not just like Ferrari being stupid. Alpine also did something stupid. But IndyCar. So I also started for the IndyCar race. Stupid Arrow McLaren was also starting in a 1-2 position, and I hated that so much because as much as I do like the drivers as people, they are funny personalities. I cannot stand watching them win anything. So I don't root for them. I root for a guy named David Malukas, who is very funny. He's in AJ Foyt Racing. He's from Chicago, there's Scott McLaughlin. He's pretty funny. He's on Team Penske. He's from Australia. And then Alex Palou. I love him. He's from Spain, and he races for Chip Ganassi. And it's like yellow and red DHL car. And DHL every June does like a whole big pride thing. They have a big message all like purposely on their page every year, like permanently on the DHL website about race. It's called Delivered with Pride. It's very fun, and so every year in June the car goes rainbow. So I can't wait to see Alex Palou in the rainbow car again. So the race starts. It's going fine. It's pretty boring actually. Everyone is just kind of managing their tires. They have to do. So in IndyCar, there's only 2 compounds, softs and hards, and every race they have to use both compounds, and at least for this one, they had to use at least one set of stickered softs, which are like brand new soft tires.
You see that shield? You want to see that button? That's my price. Let me see this.
Oh, pause for this so Patrick can make fun of it. Wait, show the camera. I want to see how funny it is. Ha! That's so silly.
It's for armor.
Why is it not an actual rectangle?
Fuck up.
There's like a big curve on that one side there.
Corners. You can shank them in with these. Stab. I'm dying now.
I'm just testing out shapes.
Yeah, we should have heavy, but just only shield.
So then if I
Shield wall!
Shield!
I'm telling you, heavy with 2 shield bosses. Make it boxing.
Yeah, 2 shields, boxing with the
then I'm gonna make a good one. But anyway, you can listen to stuff Pastor Joseph says.
Whoa. Why you gotta say it like
Perry
that?
the platypus
Why you gotta say it like that? That sounds Stop.
No. No, I'm scared.
Stop. I'm fucking scared. Jesus.
Everyone is scared of Quinn. No!
I'm not.
Some of us are just used to it.
Why not?
Quinn, hit the George Russell pose.
The power of Christ repels.
Thank you. You know what?
Hey, you're not by chance in market. Savor with y'all. Such a niche meme.
Yeah. Well, and also in 2023, George Russell did that in the intro, like T-posed in the intro for Formula One, and so it became his meme pose. And now he unironically does it sometimes, and it's funny.
Oh man, I did T-pose in like 2019. It was like, all right, this is what
I
we're
know.
gonna do. We're gonna walk over the defensive field. We're gonna T-pose. And we just did that at Horsehead one year. It was great. We T-posed
I knew the
over
band
Sven.
kids, yeah.
Over.
We
Is he on the
did.
ground?
That was like Donnan was new era. Shit was crazy.
I feel we should bring that back and T-pose around Sven again.
Or like gardening?
Okay, that's
I'll pause my racing commentary to listen to this. What? You can't leave! You're forced to be here.
Luke, I am your father.
Fight, 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 fight!
Master Joseph, this is.
You remember my name.
I know we did. I'm really bad, but you know what? Thing one.
Thing one.
Yeah, maybe need a thing two. We need to find a thing two.
Be my thing too.
Spyro's thing too.
Excellent, thing
Spyro
two.
is on his time of the year. He's having his lizard period right now.
He's a lizard.
Wait,
Yeah, he kind of has, in the springtime, he gets really angry about everything, and so we call it his time of the year, and so I don't think the armor thing is going to work out. He was assaulting people, he's even worse now. It's his time of the year.
Are we talking?
It's the lizard that lives at the TNR.
So it's an iguana who lives in their other building.
Anyway, we'll find out.
that's what they do. Is that how they? I don't know lizards.
I'm a member of the Herb. I'm an officer.
Yeah, I have friends over at the Herb Society.
Noise, who are they?
Long gone.
Nessa Komada. Probably don't even know that.
Patrick's old.
I'm old. I'm 28, alright? I don't belong here. I'm just trying to show off fencing.
I'm 29 and I'm. It's never too late.
What the hell? I hope you can hear that. Anyway, back to my racing rants. That's what my segment can be, Quinn. Instead of it's cock talk and Kai's racing rant section. When I rant about the races.
No, we need to come up with a content podcast.
You can use this. It's not anything bad in here. I'm just talking about racing at the moment.
No, we just need a name.
Oh, a name for it. All right. Yeah, we can't just always do cock talk.
Majority Black Island right now, so I can't do cock talk.
That's true.
And you can use this no. To the
You don't want to use people in front of lights for practice?
All right, sorry. This is not a cock talk episode. I was mistaken. This is a Falcons Gate name pending episode. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Back to my racing though. We're an IndyCar. McLaren starting 1-2. I've told you my favorite drivers: David Malukas, Scott McLaughlin, and Alex Palou. Scott McLaughlin is really back there. He did not qualify basically at all. He's like, I don't know, 18 he started. I was not paying attention that well. David Malukas starts P12, and I don't remember where Alex Palou started, mostly because it's Alex Palou, and he will make up those places no matter what.
If you want to try it on, you can use it.
So I should put the stickered, so they have to use stickered soft and they have to use both compounds. So the race starts. Most everyone is on soft tires. Some of them started on the hards, most of them started on the softs. Some started on stickered softs, some started on used softs. Pato, importantly, starts on used softs. Alex Palou does not. He, I think, is on regular soft tires or is on the hards. I do not remember which, but it's not stickered. It's not stickered softs. Important fact. Racing happens. Racing's going pretty slow. I get commercials and I hate the commercials, but I got those on NBC, so I can't fault Fox News, not Fox News, Fox Sports. Same thing. For that. What I will comment though is I didn't get nearly as many stupid Brad Schimmel ads on NBC as I'm getting on Fox Sports. If I saw another one, I was gonna actively throw my remote at the TV. Because I'm sorry, I don't vote for a guy who's getting funded by Nazis. That's my opinion on that. Anyway,
Which
back
one
to
you
the...
talking about that's funded by Nazis? There's a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. None of them. Yeah, except not current Nazis. Not actively doing the salute on national TV fucking Nazis. Talking about Brad Schimmel, who's being funded by them, and I was forced to watch way too many of his ads because IndyCar is on Fox Sports now. Anyway.
Also, Elon
I've
Musk.
never met a person who was persuaded by a political ad. I really don't get why that.
Because people are.
I love their very rich existence.
I know they're
Really are that good. Some people are.
Convinced by political ads?
Yes. That is literally how a lot of elderly people got swayed to vote for Donald Trump, is because they sat at home and they turned the news on and it was Fox News and they ran a shit ton of political ads and they voted for him. So
Alright, we're done with politics.
anyway, I'm done with politics because I get actually angry about them. Back to my stupid racing stuff.
Also, Falcons Gate is an apolitical organization.
We are an apolitical organization, but I can denounce Nazi Party and Nazi sympathizers because they're a hate group in the United States.
But as a side note.
But as a side note, I'm not in this university. No. But as a side note, we are an apolitical, we are open to everyone. Anyone may join and anyone may have their opinions.
Not Falcons Gate. Yesterday and Falcons Gate have an anti-bullying.
Yeah, we have an anti-bullying thing. Discrimination policy. So, you know, any known
Fuck the nuts. No one likes us.
any known hate groups are not welcome. Back to fun racing that has nothing to do with that. I just went on a mini rant because it's Fox Sports.
You told them that George also got 2 podiums?
George Russell got 2 podiums. Quinn really wants me to tell you that.
He's gonna win.
He's not.
He's gonna win. I would prefer him to the other 2 options.
I would prefer him than McLaren, but I'd rather Max if I had to pick a non-Ferrari driver.
I would prefer Max too.
If I can't have a Ferrari, I want a Max to win. Okay.
What are you talking about?
Racing.
Formula 1.
Formula One racing.
There's lore.
There's a lot of lore. If you go back to old Cock Talk episodes, you'll probably find me ranting about them last season. But I'm onto the IndyCar now, and we're having a fun little time about it.
Cybersecurity lore.
We're having a fun little chat about IndyCar at the moment, which was going fine and dandy until all of a sudden my broadcast cut out, and then they forced me to watch a bunch of ads and then switched over to the NASCAR race that was happening for 30 minutes because there was electrical issues with the van at Thermal where the IndyCar race is. And I'm sorry, that seems very unprofessional for an organization that hosts NASCAR every single year and other major sports such as the NFL. I think you should be able to broadcast from anywhere and at least have the knowledge to maybe have a backup truck or backup something in case this happens. They got a little roasted on Twitter for all of this happening and other social medias, including Facebook and Blue Sky and basically everywhere I looked, Fox Sports was getting roasted for it, including in my own chat with other people watching the race. But finally, the race comes back. Scott McLaughlin is still really far back because he had a spin, like someone hit him in the first lap of the race, and he's vibing in like the back group. David Malukas was in 10th place, and then when the broadcast came back, he was in 18th. I don't know how that happened. I would have loved to be able to check the social media of AJ Foyt Racing to see live updates like other racing groups do through social media, but AJ Foyt quite literally had 2 posts, and that was 16 laps in and 8 laps to the end, so that was no help to me. But back to the fun parts of what happened in the IndyCar race. So all of a sudden, Alex Blow comes from nowhere. He literally just appears sometimes. He comes from absolutely nowhere and just goes, "I'm right here now," and it's really fun. So he's suddenly very close to Christian Lundgaard, the McLaren driver who's in second. And they have a beautiful fight through 6 or 7 corners. It was so fun to watch. One would get the edge and then the other would get it the next turn, and then one might be pulling away and all. It was great. Alex Blow finally got past Christian Lundgaard and then just disappeared off into the distance. He put 5 seconds on Lundgaard within a lap. It was amazing. He was on hards when he did that, and then he pits. and then Lundgaard pits. So they both pit basically at the same time, and Alex Will comes out ahead of Lundgaard on new stickered softs. So now he's like 20 seconds behind Pato, and so Pato still has to pit, and so he does, but he comes out on old soft tires because he already used his new set. So now it's just Alex below, lap like 12 laps to the end, hunting down Pato Award. And it was truly mesmerizing to watch. The times just disappear. Because when Pato comes out of the pit lane, there's still like 9 seconds between them. And it's dropping like a second and a half every lap. By lap 10, he is on Pato's butt. And by the end of the lap, he has overtaken Pato and is sailing into the distance. And it's a little insane how that happened. I don't know. Does he just understand the tires better than everyone? Or was it truly just because Pato was on the older compound and maybe had more fuel in the car? I truly don't know. But it's mesmerizing to watch Alex below just like up here and then just overtake and disappear again. It's like, oh, all right, sure, Alex, sure. So he sails off and wins the race. McLaren do get second and third, but it was less hurtful than McLaren's 1-2 in F1, because at least the driver I like got first and wasn't disqualified. David ended up in like 17th or something like that. I was really mad that he got out because he was doing so much better than Ferrucci, his teammate, all weekend. And then I don't know what happened in the middle of that race, but apparently Ferrucci was ahead of him then, and Ferrucci finished ahead of David and Lucas. And I hate Santino Ferrucci with a burning passion. He was actively kicked out of F2. So Santino Ferrucci was actively kicked out of F2 and is no longer allowed back because he was racist and purposely drove his car into his teammate. For like racist reasons, like known, like he was terrible. So he got kicked out of F2, and then he makes like homophobic jokes in Formula One. He's a big Trump supporter. He wanted to put the MAGA symbol on his F2 car, and they were like, yeah, no, you're not doing that shit. Because this is Formula 2, which is races in Europe mostly, is a feeder series for Formula 1. So it makes no sense. It would make at least a bit more sense if it's IndyCar, because that races in the United States. But they're still supposed to technically be non-political. Even though they have a prayer before every race in IndyCar, it's really confusing. But actually they didn't have one at Thermal because the person they had. No, it was the NASCAR race that had a really transphobic person do their Bible reading, and that was insane. But I don't think there was actually Bible reading at Thermal, which was interesting. There was one at St. Pete, though. Maybe I just missed the Thermal. But yeah, fun fact for IndyCar, there's like a Bible verse. There's like a priest who gives like everything will be okay according to God, like before the races. It's a little odd, but whatever. So that's Kai's race rants for the week. There's no racing this weekend, so I have a bit of a break from it, which I need and which everyone needs. And then F1 goes to Japan, and IndyCar goes somewhere. And where does IndyCar go? F1 goes to Japan on the 5th and 6th, and then IndyCar goes to Long Beach on the 13th. So that would, Long Beach, that's gonna be a fun race. Long Beach is like the Monaco of IndyCar. It's like historic race on the coast, kind of pricey, very fun. Speaking of fun things, that this podcast, that's not a podcast, but whatever my talking during the fighting is, one, I'm going to the Road America race in June for IndyCar, which will be really fun, and I'm dragging Quinn and Claire and anyone else I can get to at least one day there, which will be fun. And I'm flying solo down to Texas for the Circuit of the Americas race for Formula One. I have my tickets at turn 19, I have my hotel, my plane, everything's booked and ready. Am I a little nervous to go to Texas? Yes. Am I bringing my passport with me just in case they try something fucky? Yes. Because screw them in Texas. But, I should be fine. I'm not technically flying internationally, so, you know. But yeah, that'll be a fun time. I'm not nervous for that at all, because that's in October and totally months away. And I'm not slightly freaking out about needing to pack. even though it's in October. It'll be fine. I'll be fine.
You should try it. I like your plan.
I need to go to at least one F1 race to decide if I like it. And if I like it, then I'm a little screwed because they're very expensive and I want to go to more. If I don't really like it, I can be like, well, I tried. I went to one. It's not my cup of tea. I like sitting in my basement with my computer and data stuff all over. Which will throw me off. I will be so confused. I will not have my live timings and on race onboards and like everything up when I'm there. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What you could do.
Just have it on my phone?
Yes, have it on your phone.
Yeah, but I also get really nervous if my phone battery starts dying because I've had my phone die on me in LA. So we'll figure this out. I have till October.
Have someone else's phone.
That's a plan. I will be sitting across from a big screen so I can see the like footage they're showing at least of like what's happening when I can't see them right in front of the cars actually in front of me. But we'll have fun.
Fuck it, I'll fight him with a leg armor on. I'm not taking it.
You gotta have one of our puncture-resistant shirts, a gorget, gloves.
What did you do?
I've been challenged.
Put your fucking armor on so I can take mine
No,
off.
I need to fight him first, then I'll
Plus,
fight you.
they need to settle.
But there, that was
He's gonna
my
stab me
rants
repeatedly.
for the week.
And
gonna eat some
hopefully not
candy
get
in
an
my pocket
opportunity
now.
to judo throw me.
Well, that's definitely.
Where'd the shots go?
What?
Stop, where'd
There?
the bigger ones go?
We got special training for these.
Maybe? I don't know. Oh wait, those are the good, yeah, the potato sack ones?
Yeah, I'm looking for the giant blueberry ones.
That
That's-
one is not the
No, this is the big one.
No, I don't know if the blueberry is still.
That's what I was saying. I don't know if we got that one. We're gonna need a large one.
Okay. I can now move the camera to a better viewing angle.
No, the blueberry looks well.
What?
The other blueberry, like the one I can eat.
Because your brother's already. You're having fun right now?
Just this? What about the sleeves? I don't have them.
They're allowed to not
All right.
have sleeves anymore.
Hey, I'm getting some hits in, so it's
Wait, okay, I need a...
When I told you, you did good.
the game is fine. Oh, congratulations.
I'm fighting blind.
You're
Doing great.
Damn it, I forget.
So,
Don't worry, a lot of people take their glasses off to fight.
shoot at your dog.
Yeah. Are you looking